From the 76ers collapse in Boston, leading to a Philly star exploring wanting out, to him just not being a good fit. Why James Harden really hates playing for Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers had all the tools in the world when going up against maybe the best team in the East. The Philadelphia 76ers faced the Boston Celtics in Game 7 of the second round of the 2023 NBA playoffs. Many people, including myself, argue that there was no reason there even should have been a seventh game. Coming into Game 6, the Sixers led the series 3-2, and they had a chance to close out the Celtics at home in the Wells Fargo Center. Going into the fourth and final quarter, the 76ers had a slim 2-point lead over the visitors. It was anyone's game, and everyone thought it would be a close duel all the way to the end. Maybe the Philadelphia crowd would help propel their team past the Eastern Conference semifinals. A hump that the team from the city of brotherly love just couldn't seem to get over. With NBA MVP Joel Embiid and future Hall of Famer James Harden, Philadelphia had never had a better squad suited to take out the Celtics and walk away with the W. So, what happened? For starters, Jason Tatum went off. The NBA All-Star rained down a storm of three-point shots, closing the gap and putting the hurt on Philly's defense. Boston point guard Marcus Smart, the most consistent player on the hardwood that night for Boston, masterfully guided and led his team, helping them orchestrate their comeback and late-game run. But the death sentence for the Sixers was how badly they played for those final 12 minutes. The fourth quarter started with the 76ers on the losing end of a 15-3 run. Embiid, Harden, and Tobias Harris combined shooting was a dismal 4 for 22. All game, their offense just wasn't clicking. It was sluggish and uninspired. Not to mention they gave the ball away way too much, and that unfortunately came to a head at the worst possible time. To put their performance into perspective, they only shot 36% overall from beyond the arc, as Tatum pushed the Celtics' lead with every three-point shot. With Boston pummeling them, Rivers' Sixers seemed to completely forget one vital fact. They had Joel Embiid. Why Coach Doc Rivers didn't emphasize getting the ball to him down low is beyond not only me, but other fans and experts alike. By the time the clock ran out, Philadelphia lost the game and their opportunity to advance to the third round. It would have been the first time since the days of Allen Iverson in 2001. Okay, well, they lost. There was still another chance for Doc Rivers and James Harden, albeit a harder road. They went to Boston for Game 7. That was when Doc Rivers lost his job, and James Harden might have made up his mind to leave Philly. Things started well for Philadelphia as they were up by 9 points in the second quarter, even though the Celtics managed to close that gap before going into the third. It's the third quarter when everything fell apart for the 76ers. How bad was it? A little over 30 seconds into the third quarter, the game was all tied up. By the last 30 seconds of that same quarter, the Celtics were up by 28 points! It was honestly hard to watch. The Boston Celtics shot a ridiculous 6 for 7 from three-point land during that stretch, contributing to them scoring 24 points in only 13 possessions. In comparison, Philly only scored once in 17 possessions. That's almost the whole quarter only scoring a single basket. Altogether, Philly only scored 4 times the whole third while turning the ball over 7 times. It didn't help that they couldn't put the ball through the net for the life of them. Jason Tatum was doing it with ease. He went on to score a record 51 points. Ouch! Shortly after the blowout loss, Doc Rivers was fired by the Philadelphia 76ers organization. Was that fair? Looking at the stats, there are questions to be asked about why he was sacked. When comparing him to the two coaches that came before him, Rivers did really well on several metrics. In Doc Rivers' 3 years on the Philly sidelines, he had a 653 win percentage. That's better than other former coaches Brett Brown, who only had a 391, and Doug Collins at 478. Rivers also had a better record in the playoffs. At 20-15, Doc Rivers had 8 more wins than Brown and 12 more than Collins. That said, Doc Rivers has a bad history of blowing playoff leads, even when his teams are ahead 3-1 in a series. And he has a miserable lifetime record in NBA playoff Game 7s at only 6-10. Not everyone agreed with the decision to fire the head coach. After the tough Game 7 loss, Joel Embiid came forward in support of Doc Rivers. Of Rivers, Embiid said, "I thought he's done a fantastic job. I think we've gotten better over the years. I thought he did a great job. I don't make the decisions, but I think he'll be fine." He wasn't. Embiid wasn't done. You look at the way he handled the whole situation we had a year or two ago. He kept this team afloat and has been a great leader for all of us, a great motivator. Joel Embiid's teammate and fellow superstar James Harden didn't seem to feel the same way about Doc. All season there had been rumors of tension between the two. No one has really come out and said what their issues are. Some of it might have something to do with James Harden's history of disappearing in the playoffs. Rumors of Harden wanting to be traded at the end of the 2023 season couldn't have helped, as they ramped up while he and his team were still in the playoffs. That could easily have rubbed the coach the wrong way. ESPN's Ramona Shelburne, a respected and trusted source for NBA news, said that she was told by someone close to the unfolding situation at the time in Philly. It would be hard for me to see James wanting to come back and play for Doc again.
To me, it'd be hard for me to see James wanting to come back and play for Doc again. This is going to be a situation where those two decisions are linked.
Several teams have been linked with James Harden, including his former team where he was an all-star, and where he was a prolific scorer as well as a beloved figure, the Houston Rockets. The Phoenix Suns also look like an ideal fit, where he could reunite with former Thunder and Nets teammates Kevin Durant and current superstar Devin Booker. But even though he opted out of his play option, James Harden could end up staying for 2024. 2023 NBA MVP Joel Embiid has made it clear he wants Harden to stay in Philly with him. He said, "We got an unfinished job. We haven't won anything, and I think we have the chance to win. Going to 7 games and having a chance to close it out at home, which we didn't do. I still believe we got the chance to win. We got what it takes to win." There's good reason Embiid wanted Harden to stick around. James Harden excels in the pick and roll. This enhanced Embiid's effectiveness at the rim, as he got the ball down low more. And Joel Embiid is near impossible when within arm's reach of the basket.
Switch back now, Horford guarding Embiid. Embiid, little dream shake, Tucker inside, back to Embiid. I'm not sure he passed it to him.
That's one of the reasons he was voted the most valuable player of 2023. ESPN personality and analyst Stephen A. Smith doesn't think that Harden should stay, or that Doc Rivers should have been fired. The way that he saw it, the 76ers gave up on their coach. They threw in the towel in Game 7 when the Celtics took the lead in the third quarter. And it's not Doc's fault that they just quit on him.
Jaylen Brown, got it!
Part of the problem, in Stephen A. Smith's viewpoint, was that Harden isn't a good fit. He made the valid point that James Harden just doesn't show up in critical games. Maybe going into 2024, the 76ers are better off without the future Hall of Famer. If they got a young guard to play alongside Tyrone Maxey, someone energetic, hungry, and can come through in the clutch, Philadelphia might finally be able to get over the Eastern Conference semifinals hump. It seems that a clash of personalities and playstyles are why James Harden really hates playing for Doc Rivers.